an example. I'm going to do 10.20 just because I can. So, Thoy needs,
Why do they pick the rich?
I don't know, because I can,
$1,850.
$1,850
My brother's name.
in 8 months for tuition. How much money should she deposit in an account paying 8.2% compounded monthly? So should she deposit into an account paying 8.2% compounded monthly question?
So 8.2% over total.
Okay, so yeah, I think we need to figure out one, how long does she have? Two, how many compounding periods there are. Three, what's the rate? And four, either the principal or the future value, and which one am I looking for?
We're looking for the principal, right?
Yeah, I think I'm looking for a principal, right? The should she deposit thing kind of clues me in for P. Oh, this is going to be a bad marker too. Jocelyn, I thought I told you to take these away from me.
We already have one.
Sure you do. Alright, what's 1850?
Well, your current
That's the,
principal.
no, that's the future value.
That's how much she needs. So where does that money live?
Oh, they need.
Lives in the
Guy
principal.
needs.
Right? That money lives in 8 months, right?
Yeah.
That's future money.
Oh,
So that's an A thing. The 8 months,
the time.
yeah, that's the time frame, right? So that tells me T is 8 over 12, right?
Yep.
You guys see that?
Mhm.
Okay.
2 over.
Whoa, where's the other stuff, dude?
I wish I could do that.
8.2.
Throw in some money in an account and get 8.2 thousand monthly interest
Yeah, that's
for
pretty.
your tuition.
So
That's your rate.
I mean, you've been able to do this in the stock market for a little while lately, but you never know when that's going to crash out, right?
Well, what goes up must come down.
Yeah. So 8.2 is your
Rate.
rate. So your rate is
0.082.
0.082. Good. Excellent moving of decimal points without dorking it up, as I tend to do. Compounded monthly means
1.
What about 12?
means which variable in the equation.
Is N.
Yeah, n is, so how many times is it compounded in a year?
12.
8.
12.
12, right.
How many times is this one compounded? 8.
8.
But how many times is it compounded in a year? 12.
12.
So n is 12. That's the number of compoundings in a year.
Is it
So,
actually 12? Like most.
if it's monthly, it's 12. If it's
3 to
daily,
5.
it's 365.
Okay, that's yeah.
If it's yearly, it's 1. If it's semi-annually, it's 2.
Got it.
So you just
If
divide
it's quarterly, it's...
0.82 divided by 12.
4.
So,
1.
so hang on. I know A. A is 1850, right? So I do 1850, oops, 1850 is, what's the principal?
No one knows yet.
I don't know, so I'm putting a P there. Alright, then you have 1 I know.
0.082
Your rate was 0.082,
over 12.
and you need to divide by the number of compoundings, so divided by 12, and then raised to
12 times
12, the number of compoundings, times
8 over 12.
8 over 12, the amount of time,
Mm-hmm.
and then you might note
64?
that that's 8.
Wait, it's not 64. What's
Why is that 8?
that?
Because
Oh,
12
wait,
over
what?
1 times 8
Because,
equals
yeah, but why else
It
is
just
it 8?
cancels out. 'Cause
How many compoundings are we going to do in 8 months?
8.
We're going to do 8 compoundings in in 8 months, right?
Yeah,
Hence the 8 up here.
so it's gonna say number of compounding total,
Yeah, so really you could think about this NT part, right, this guy.
so that same thing if it were over 2 years, and that would be 16?
So if you had 2 years, right, so if it was in 2 years,
Yeah.
then you'd have 24 compoundings. Right, so this total number NT, that's the total number of compoundings.
Oh, 24, right, okay.
Right, so not the number of compoundings in a year like N is, but the total number of compoundings that it went.
But if it were 15 months, then it would only be 15.
Yeah, so if this were in 15 months, then this would be 15 up here.
Because it would be compounded monthly 15 times.
Yeah, there would be 15 compoundings, and they're not, like, this isn't a lot of interest a month, right? It's less than 1% a month.
Yeah.
You guys see that? So, it's getting something. How do I figure out what I got here? Because this is where algebra comes back to bite you again.
Parentheses, like, am I right?
PennDOS.
Yeah, you kinda gotta sort out some parentheses and whatnot. So, I think this whole business here,
Goes first?
yeah, that all goes first, and what is that thing? Like, are there any variables in there?
No.
It's literally just
No.
do it.
That's a freaking number, just do it. Right?
I got 1.055999933.
Okay.
That's right.
So, secret calculator. So, the thing is, when you put these in, you need to make sure you have parentheses. So, I'm doing parentheses 1 plus 0.082 divided by 12, parentheses, caret 8.
Did I get it wrong?
And I'm getting, what did you get?
1.05.
Yes, 1.056.
Nice.
So this whole business here is 1.056.
P.
Yeah, so algebraically, right, you do a little simplification, and you get 1850 is 1.056 P. And then you need to solve for P, right?
So that was you were doing.
So you divide by what?
1850 divided by 1.
Yep, take 1850 and divide by 1.06. So divide both sides by 1.056.
175 or 1751.
So you get 1751 is P.
0.89, but it doesn't really matter, I guess.
Oh, 1752 then?
She's barely got enough.
I think she can rustle up 11 cents out of the cushions of her car or something, right?
So she's $1,000 short than the actual money she needs.
Close, say again. She's
She's
short.
so
That's offensive.
She's short $998.
no.
No?
Are you subtracting these two numbers?
Well, I'm just saying, like, that's how much she has right now, that's how much she needs to put in, right?
So this is what she needs to put in
Yeah, that's how
today in order to get out this much.
much in 8 months.
Which means basically that in 8 months she's going to earn $100
Oh, yeah, $100.
in interest. You see that? Does that make sense?
You can just
So she's
work for a couple
$100
days.
short.
So-
The way to get it is,
Yeah, so if she has this much money to put in today, in 8 months she'll have the other $100 she needs. If she doesn't have this much money to put in today, then she's short.
yeah.
But really answering the question, how much should she deposit into an account today? Today she should put in $1,752 and she'll be okay in 8 months. She'll have the $1,850 that she
It
needs.
takes a lot of forethought for that. College kids don't think of
Some of them do, not many.
that. Some of them.
You have to have like a savings.
Most of the ones who have this kind of forethought also go to schools that cost a little bit more than this.
For tuition,
Yeah.
That's my food for the lunch.
Does this kind of make this thought process make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
So the biggest thing with compound interest that's hard is that ands play into both pieces here. It is in general extremely hard to figure out what an is. So they're not going to ask you for that in the book. Does that make sense? Like nowhere in the book are they going to ask you, how often was this compounded?
So like we'll get like.
Because algebraically, that's a pain.
Well, I mean, like, would we get like monthly, semi-annually, and then annually? I mean, I feel like that would be the only times.
Daily, they're gonna talk about daily too. Yeah, and I'm gonna spend a second to talk about continuously too.
Okay.
But the kind of important thing here is just whatever you do when you read one of these problems, they're not gonna ask you to solve for n. So if you don't see what n is right away, go look around for it a little more. There's some kind of time frame word in there that should be cluing you in. I'm not gonna ever ask you to solve for n because algebraically it's a giant pain in the ass. Cool?